because I became a Trekkie later in life. And if I had something like this to kind of be the gateway into the Trek universe, I think I would have been a Trekkie way, way earlier.
What was your gateway?
Working the Star Trek experience in Las Vegas.
Oh,
Really? By the way, opened
Anniversary.
today 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Today is the
Really?
anniversary of the opening of January 4th,
how did we
Day after
1994.
that?
Deep Space Nine's birthday.
And people, this is exactly why we had Bonnie on, to celebrate the
Yeah,
Star Trek
surprise!
experience 20-year anniversary in
Is
Las
it 20?
Vegas, Nevada.
It feels like that's
at
not
the
long
Hilton.
enough. Hold on. Was it 20 or was it 20 years that they it's something like this.
Wasn't it during-
like
I
one
know
of
it
these
existed
years.
while I was alive. And
First
No,
opened
it's
that was-
24 years ago today.
Mhm.
I was
It
1998.
existed for 1 year after I was born.
That's the year I worked it. I was part of the
Yay.
closing cast. Yeah. So
What
that
did
was
you
my
do?
introduction to Star Trek. I was one of the actors. I was one of the Starfleet officers. So, and I kind of wish I could go back in time and do it all over again, knowing what I know about Star Trek now. I think I would have just been so much more appreciative of standing on the bridge in a Starfleet uniform, talking to Commander Riker on a screen.
Yes.
To me, it was like, oh, this is fun. I mean, I've always been a fan of fantasy and sci-fi. So to me, it was like, oh, this is really cool. And I'm part of something really fun. And now I'm like, oh, I took so much for granted. Why didn't I take more pictures? I should have had a camera on me at all times. And I don't have any pictures of me in uniform except for like 3. Because
when you started the job, you had never actually seen an episode before?
I'd seen a few, but
Okay.
I wasn't enriched in the Trek universe as I am now.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Did you
Gotcha.
live in Vegas while this? I mean, were you already in Vegas and then you got this job, or did you move to Vegas for this job?
Oh, I wish I could say I moved to Vegas for Star Trek, but that was not the case. I was living in Orlando. So I left Louisiana after Katrina, lived in Florida, working for Disney World, got cast on a show outside of Disney called Tony and Tina's Wedding, and they transferred me to the Vegas cast after a
Nice.
year of working in that show. So there's my little nomad history. But yeah, I was living in Vegas, and then I was like, oh, I'm going to audition for this sci-fi improv show that, makes you wear spandex. Let's do it. And I
Lets
fun.
you wear
Wait,
spandex.
but did you
in
have
the-
a front zip or a back zip uniform?
Oh no, it was the front. It was the Next Generation, full on body leotard. That was not forgiving. I don't think I could pull it off now like I did back then. I was a lot thinner when I lived in Vegas, but man, it does not allow you to have any flaws. Like you can't even wear real underwear with it. You had to wear like special thongs and because you could see panty lines. I don't know if
If you're in
that's too
command
risque to
division.
say. Yeah.
No,
If you're in
it's
command
okay.
division, you can go commando. I think it just rolls with the role.
I guess so. I mean, they would clean our uniforms every day. They had like a costume department. So I mean, it was amazing. But yeah, those costumes did not allow for any. You had to really suck it in when you were.
Did you get to keep your costume?
We weren't supposed to. And a lot of people were able to sneak theirs out. And I was not one of the few that were able to get mine out of there. I tried. I had like a little bag and I was like, oh no, there's nothing in here. But yeah, they were being very,
Bonnie,
they were being
you
very,
and you and Sirach should exchange war stories about spandex and see who had it worse.
worse.
There, I do want to point out a couple quick things. Number one is, much to my dismay, it looks like the live chat is going with the gecko. And come on, you guys.
What?
Yay,
Yeah,
animals.
there are very few people that are choosing the
Team
caveman.
caveman?
I'm surprised.
Oh.
Becca says caveman.
Yeah, that's my brother's girlfriend. Becca.
Nice. And Anne-Marie says caveman.
Yeah, but my mom said gecko.
Yeah.
Yay, Marianne.
Aww.
You know
else
what?
wanna
You know what?
say?
I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. It's the accent. People just love that accent.
It is a cool
you know,
accent.
the caveman
Plus, I
didn't
could
really
take
have
him in a
one.
fight.
Yeah, but he's so wild.
It's Cockney accent, right? Marine,
It's
like Marina.
Australian.
Probably
I think
something.
it's Cockney. I think-
Australian.
It's Australian.
It's Australian.
Dork.
He's a
It's
Geico
Australian.
in Australia.
A Cockney accent.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought.
That
But then
makes no
I
sense.
think there was like an argument online about it like years ago. Like, and then people like looked it up and they said it was Cockney. I'm like, but it doesn't sound
No,
Cockney.
he doesn't sound like
Well,
Well,
crazy.
I don't
all right,
think
chat.
it's
This is the new war. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
it is.
Is
I'm
it
telling you,
Australian or Cockney?
I think it was settled that it was Cockney.
He's an Australian gecko. Gecko. What, the words.
We also want to say very quickly a hello to our good buddy Amy Imhoff. Hi, Amy. It's not usually like this. And also
These VPL discussions need to be had.
also a belated happy birthday again to Melissa Longo, who's in the live chat. Her birthday was yesterday.
Happy birthday.
And happy birthday to Dr. Mohammed Noor, whose birthday was just 3 days ago on New
Yes,
Year's
Happy
Day.
birthday, Mohammed.
Wow. It's birthday week. Anyway. All right. So lastly on the Star Trek experience, because this is just too good not to talk about. I've been a bunch of times. In fact, one of my favorite memories was, years ago with my buddy Darth. He was my roommate, and we kind of got up one morning hanging out, and I was like, "Oh, I'm not working today." He said, "Me neither." And we're like, "Do you want to fly over to Quark's bar for lunch?"
Shut up.
And we totally did. We just got on a plane real quick because we were right by the Burbank airport, shot over to Vegas, took a cab to Quark's bar, had lunch, screwed around for 2 hours, flew back, and that was our day. But the question is, Mohammed, Anne-Marie, and Katie, have you been to the Star Trek experience in Las Vegas?
He wasn't old enough. I can tell you right now.
I was not old enough.
21.
But I did have a cool thing because I did go to the Broadcast Educators Association conference back in a couple years ago, which was at the Westgate. And I could see the faded out from where the sign was. The paint was still a little bit brighter, and I could see Star Trek: The Experience. And they turned the holodeck arch into a gift shop. So that's as much as I got as I touched the arc. And I was like, this is disappointing. And then walked away.
For all you listeners, if you go to Vegas and you go to the Westgate and you sign up to do their timeshare area is where like all of Quark's and like the warp core, like you can still see the warp core, all like the walls.
Okay,
They
I've
didn't
never
change
been so interested in
anything.
timeshares.
I snuck in there. Maybe I shouldn't say this on a broadcast, but I snuck in there and took some pictures, and a lot of it is the same because it's too expensive for them to take down all of that stuff. So, but they just call it like the space room or something crazy. But I believe that's where they do their timeshares and special events. So that's your little clue of the day to go and sneak in and do a timeshare and take a picture of the warp core.
Life hack.
That's gonna happen now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's where
56-year
Quark's-
mission. We're going there.
It looks like the DS9 promenade a little bit, and then Quark's bar was there, and yeah, it's where they serve like hors d'oeuvres while you're talking about your timeshare benefits. So yeah.
Wow.
Oh my gosh, I would do anything for them to revive that and just bring it back.
Yeah, I wish they.
You
I
and
wish they
everybody
would.
else. Oh my God, it was the most glorious thing ever. They had 2 rides. Bonnie, I can tell you were on the first one. The second one was later on. It was the 4D Borg.
The Borg
experience.
invasion. Yeah,
Right.
I didn't get trained on that one. There wasn't time to train me, but I was going to.
They had Klingons and Andorians walking around and Vulcans, and they would just come up to you and just talk to you while you're eating your rings of Beta Z, which
Onion
were just
rings.
onion rings, yeah, and the hamburger.
Yep.
And Deanna
When I
Troy's
tell you-
chocolate martini. I'm gonna go
I
get my
would quit
picture
my
from
job
there.
right now if
The
I
warp
could
core breach.
go and work there.
Oh
It
yeah,
was
I've heard
amazing.
about
They
this
had-
warp core breach. in
The
a
warp core
crystal.
breach could mess you up so badly. It was a drink. It would be smoking.
Oh my gosh.
It was not for one person. It was definitely a shared experience.
Oh.
And the Ferengi would be in the gift shop, like haggling prices. It was great. It was great.
What was
Oh
the Borg
my
invasion
gosh.
thing?
Borg invasion was you're passing through, and the doctor from Voyager pops up on a screen, and basically you've all been scanned as you walk through, and they're basically saying one of you has a special like genetic code that could be resistant to the Borg assimilation, and then I guess the Borg finds out, so they're attacking the space station that you're on. And when that happens, a Starfleet officer comes through, with like a phaser and like bleeding from the head. It's like, we have to get you out of here, So you're running through the ship, through the station, and like things are sparking, and you're running to get onto a ship. And as when you get onto the ship is like the ride. It's like a 4D experience, and like a 4D theater where you put on goggles, and then Voyager comes to save you. Captain Janeway comes because the Borg attack, and
That's so sweet.
if anyone's gonna take the Borg head on, it's gonna be Janeway.
It's definitely going to be Janeway. That's true.
Mhm.
That's amazing.
Girl.
That
It was fun.
sounds so phenomenal.
I'm going to start
best-
a letter writing campaign to get this thing back because I need
was
to
amazing.
experience it.
The best
Ooh.
was they were trying to open the door to get you loaded into the room, and it's nothing's working. And so, one of the Starfleet officers is like, everyone, look out. And they shoot it with a phaser and it explodes. It's all timed, pyrotechnics.
Oh.
And as they're like ushering people in, a Borg arm comes through the ceiling, grabs them and pulls them up through the ceiling. So they're attached to a harness. And all you do is see a Borg arm jump down there and like carries them up into the ceiling as if it's like pulling them up to simulate them. It was the coolest thing ever.
Did it have
was
the Borg
amazing.
Queen in it too? Or no
Better
queen?
be.
On the screen they did, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh my gosh. I need to see a walkthrough of this now. That's
Mhm.
what's going to
You
happen.
can go look up on YouTube. There's walkthroughs of both the Borg side and the Next Generation
Oh,
Klingon
gosh.
encounter side.
That's amazing.
It makes me
It
so
was
happy
amazing.
and so incredibly sad. I can't go there.
It was the greatest.
I do
thing
wish
ever.
I do wish they would bring it back. It was
Sorry to say.
definitely special. And now I have my friend Cube gifted me with a bunch of Star Trek The Experience gifts for Christmas. So I have like so many fun things from the gift shop on my wall now, including he had tiles of the carpet, like unused
Wow.
ones, not like used carpet, but it was like, that they would use for repairs if they needed to repair certain sections. And so now they're on my wall to help me with my soundproofing. So if you go look on my Twitter, I just posted a picture of it in honor of the anniversary today.
Oh my gosh.
All right,
Yeah.
guys, we've got an
All right,
update.
sorry. That was a very long digress.
That was great.
No, we
Digression?
love that
That was
stuff.
so much fun.
You may not realize this, but you're in a virtual room full of nerds, so it's perfectly okay.
No.
Melissa
Yeah.
Longo, the birthday girl, says, quote, I had the great fortune of living in England during my childhood and toured the U.S. with an Aussie band. The Gecko's accent is definitely not Aussie.
I think it's like an
Oh.
Outback Steakhouse situation where they think that's what Australian
Yeah.
is, but it's not.
I did
exactly.
just Google it and it said it's a Cockney accent.
Okay.
Right on
Okay,
right.
so you win.
So-
You win.
And how come he's always wearing like a cowboy hat, like he's in Australia?
Because the person
How come he's a talking
probably
gecko?
yeah. It probably was supposed to be Australian and they couldn't get an actor to do the accent right.
Yeah.
So weird.
Because that's
right.
like it's some guy in West Virginia trying to do his best
It's just
Australian
making me
accent.
like the caveman
Yes.
more.
Yes, that's probably it.
Because I can't do an Australian accent. Whenever I try, it goes to Cockney. So I get it.
Yes.
I get it.
Mm.
Crazy.
I've just watched too much Doctor Who to be able to do any other accent that's close to it.
Yep.
I didn't mention the Outback before. Craziness. What's really interesting too is Inglorious Trexperts has a few episodes where they talk to who actually like wrote the scripts for the experience rides and who
Oh,
built
wow.
them. So if you look through their library on iTunes, it's really amazing stuff. And a lot of the writers actually they took like some of the more newbie writers in the Star Trek writing room and like flew them to Las Vegas for summers to write the scripts and
was-
watch all the
wow.
VHSs to pick like footage.
Mhm.
Cool.
It was fun. And what was neat was, they got all the actors to be a part of it as well. Because, we're talking on the screen to Geordie LaForge, to Commander Riker, to, Janeway's in the Borg invasion and the Borg Queen. So, like, they get all the actors to interact,
Wow.
on the screen with us. So it was fun.
Wow.
Amazing.
All right, so everybody in the
Queen.
All right,
chat,
guys.
everybody in the chat's asking about Prodigy, and by everybody I mean like one or two people. Most people are trying to figure out the Geico
The accent.
Gecko thing
Yeah.
that we started. But